I should say this, as a rule, we don't comment in detail on court decisions. Sometimes we deal with specific issues that can arise from decisions or comments, and when decisions raise broader questions, then this House has discussed the relevant judgments, like the City Harvest case. In this case, the High Court's comments have given rise to the questions I have referred to earlier. These questions require us to go back and carefully analyze the judgment. It's difficult to discuss the law enforcement and legal processes here in Parliament based on the High Court's comments without a proper understanding of the comments. We also cannot make an assessment of whether the comments require us to change any of our current processes without looking carefully at the relevant parts of the judgment. So I will therefore be looking at parts of the High Court judgment to give the government's views on them, and based on that, I will set out what gaps there were in the investigations, conduct of the trial, and also say what more could or should have been done. But as we do this, let me make 3 points clear and reiterate what I had said earlier. First, the High Court decision is final. On the acquittal, there is no appeal. Second, I'm making no comment as to whether the High Court's decision can be relied upon or whether the judge's comments can be re-looked at in other proceedings. For example, in any proceedings that Ms. Liyani or others are or may be involved, there are rules of evidence relating to these matters. Third, in this case, we have had to deal with the questions raised whether there are any systemic issues with our law enforcement processes, and for that purpose, we have to discuss the judgment, the government's view, and also look at some additional factual material, which we came to know of after the judgment was delivered. It's therefore a narrow, specific purpose. This exercise is not one of reopening the judgment. And I should emphasize that we are going into detail only because it is necessary for the purposes I have explained. I have gone through all of this because we have to show the police and the agency did not act arbitrarily or as a result of the influence of a rich and influential family. Those were the accusations that circulated immediately after the learned Justice Chan issued his judgment, that there was a grave miscarriage of justice, and AGC and police were asked to apologize. What I put forward to this House show that the police and AGC had good grounds to charge Ms. Liyani. They certainly did not act at the behest of the Liu family, and this is how our system is supposed to work. Police and AGC make up their assessments based on the evidence. The High Court the State Court agreed with the prosecution and convicted Ms. Liyani. The High Court disagreed, overturned the conviction, felt there were reasonable grounds to doubt the motives of the Liu family in making the police report. Again, this shows how our system works.